Welcome to A Better Life. I'm your host, Hank Hennigan, and today we have on our show a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Claston Bernard.
Hey, Brother Hank.
Hey, Brother Claston. Hey, Brother Claston I call him brother. He's like a brother to me, and he's a fine young man, and been knowing him for many, many years. All right, Brother Claston, we're here today to talk about U.S. Congressional District 2 race that you are qualified to run in. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
And the voting is this Saturday, March the 20th.
Yes.
All right, Brother Claston, I know your background, and I know the many, many things that you've accomplished. I know your beautiful wife and your two beautiful daughters. But tell the people watching A Better Life exactly your background, what got you here from Jamaica to Baton Rouge, and your heart to run for Congress.
My great-grandfather told my dad a long time ago, if you want to change your children's future, invest in education.
Yes.
So he believed that, took it to heart, and he made sure, and that's us growing up in Jamaica, that education was going to be the way out for his children.
Yes.
And he said about doing that. We grew up in a house with no electricity, no running water.
Wow.
We didn't have, everything was probably old school American style.
Sure,
You saw
sure,
1950s style, 1940s style. But, even with some of the stuff they had in 1950s and 40s, we didn't have. We just didn't have those things.
That's unbelievable.
But they got us materials to read. So at night, my night would be spent reading books because we didn't have television and radio because it was battery powered. You had to use it sparingly. So, the books were the way to the world for me. So in the mornings before school, my mom had to make sure she always cleaned our nose out really well because it was black from soot, from that lampshade that says home sweet home. Growing up, and for us, that was where it started. It was investment early in education. And eventually, me and my siblings, four of us, ended up in the best schools in Jamaica.
Jamaica?
Yes, I ended up at the only all-boys boarding school in Jamaica.
Wow.
That has produced the most Rhodes Scholars, I think, up till this point, coming out of the Caribbean.
Yes.
So, but it was merit-based. You had to pay for it. That the catch was there was no government subsidies.
Yes.
You have to invest.
Wow.
And my dad made that happen. And while I was there in all-boy boarding school, I was looking for a way to go to college. I, read enough to know that there were universities, and I wanted a university degree. It was something cool. So,
hey, good people, listen.
He
getting ready to tell you how he got from Jamaica to Baton Rouge, and when he got to Baton Rouge 20-something years ago is when I laid eyes on Claston. All right, tell the people watching there, how'd you got from Jamaica to Baton Rouge?
So I'm trying to go to university, and they had a guy at my high school who was a very good sprinter. But, my high school is known as an academic program.
Right.
And he had a scholarship to UT Arlington to study engineering. Right. So I said, that's my way out. I'm going to pursue track and field. That's my ticket. And I was a good soccer player, good cricket player. But I wanted to go to university, and I was looking for where the door would open up. So I said, I'm going to pursue track and field. Now, at the same time, that was in 1993, 1994.
Right.
A friend of mine whose dad was a doctor gave me the book, Gifted Hands by Dr. Ben Carson.
Oh, yes.
And I've read that. I could not put that book down. I read that book, and I was like, hold on, he's an American. And his struggles are very similar to mine.
Yes.
And he was able to become a neurosurgeon. So all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, I can do this. I can get this done. So I just relentlessly pursued my athletic, training.
Sure.
And it was a tough balance, but I was able to balance it. And by the time I became a senior, I was one of the most recruited Jamaican high school athletes to do decathlon, high jump, and even American football.
Come on.
So the talent level was deep. And in 1997, I came to LSU for my visit. I had 5 visits set up.
5 visits?
Yes. So I came here in April of 1997. And it was the most gorgeous day. April and November and October can be beautiful here.
In South Louisiana.
Yes.
That's right.
So I remember coming here for the 2 days, and I'm like, this is the place I want to be. And I said, you know what? I'm not taking any other visits. I'm good. And people are like, "You're stupid. Are you crazy? Why you don't take the other option?" I said, "Because I feel like this is where I need to be."
Yes.
And I had a great junior track and field year. Made the World Junior Championships, which is the equivalency of the Junior Olympics. Performed well. Had a great junior career. But once I got to Baton Rouge and settled into Baton Rouge, I fell in love with the structure. I fell in love with Louisiana. The food, it was spicy. So, they always tell us a lot about the American food and how bland it is. I'm like, not in Louisiana. So
It got to be spicy.
yes, so it was.
Get it off the table if it ain't spicy.
If it's not spicy and flavorful, we ain't having it down here. So, I fell in love with that. But one other thing I saw in my early years at LSU campus was I saw a lot of people that I started becoming friends with, even especially black friends. I would ask them, I said, what are you guys planning on doing after college? And some of them would say, I want to work for the government. And I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
Because in Jamaica, the government ran a lot of things into the ground.
Right.
But it was some kind of assurance in terms of job security. And I would wonder about that, and I'm like, why are you guys just looking there and not trying to pursue or do your own thing? Why don't you, about starting your own business? So while at LSU, I won my first SEC as a freshman and then continued that trend all 4 years. I won an SEC championship. Did very well at NCAAs.
And that's decathlon.
And the decathlon, yes.
Okay.
But I also placed well in the high jump. I had second place in the high jump outdoors. Also third place a couple times in the high jump. This is a very good high jumper. So I had a very good, made the Olympics as a sophomore, my first Olympics. Made the Olympics again after I graduated, finished 9th in Athens. Won the Commonwealth Games gold medal, so.
Commonwealth gold.
Yes,
Wow.
that's the second largest athletic event outside the Olympics.
Outside the Olympics, right.
Yeah,
right.
so that was a big one. That's one of the big career highlights for me, other than finishing ninth in the Olympics. And I had a pretty good, successful track and field career.
Sure.
I was able to travel the world, see the world.
What did you at LSU? What did you major in?
I majored in human resource management.
Human resource management.
Yes.
Okay.
But I tell you what, I was this close from a minor in history, but I wanted to finish my degree because track and field was going well. I wanted to travel into Europe and enjoy Europe.
Sure.
And I was like, they're like, you're finishing early, you have a year and a half left. I'm like, I just want to just get my first degree and just focus on athletics, and just see where it takes me.
Sure.
So, I had my degree in that, and I had some good professors at LSU, but my highlight for LSU was my history classes, Western civilization and Black history, African American history.
Wow.
That was the highlight for me.
So you really learned the background of the African American history and the
Western civilization.
Yes.
Yes. So
Wow.
those were what spoke more to me because it was what I was able to start connecting with in terms of America because I love history. I'm a student of history. I follow history very closely. So once I was able to start connecting the dots, I started seeing some things, certain narratives that they were pushing that was more anti-American, just anti-democracy,
Sure.
anti-republic. And I started trying to place all of that. And for me, there were things that were just starting to come together. And going back through LSU, there were a lot of people I met that were just great people.
All right, good people. We're talking to Claston Bernard and his track background as an All-American at LSU. And we're going to continue that, and we'll be right back for A Better Life. Welcome back to A Better Life. We're here today just talking to Mr. Claston Bernard, a dear friend of mine. Known him since he came here from Jamaica. Participated as a decathlon champion at the LSU track, and I am so glad that you chose LSU over all these other universities. They want you, Claston. and like you said, they didn't have the culture of South Louisiana.
No, they didn't. Plus, you know what? I made a few mad, but you know what? I stuck with my choice, and it was the right choice.
Well, good people, we talked to Claston about him being in 2 Olympics, All-American trackster in decathlon at LSU, And that's how I started following him, because I ran track in high school and ran the hurdles. And so I was always going to LSU track meets and seeing Claston. And then we became friends and attending the same church together. And just great, awesome man. But Claston, okay, you do 4 years of track. Tell us about your life after that.
Well, after that, with everybody, young guys, you learn a lot of hard lessons. You learn the relationship do's and don't,
Right.
and then you go through the heartaches and the brokenheartedness and all that kind of stuff, and just adjusting to life outside of college and just trying to find where do I fit in. Even though I was competing professionally, I always wanted to do something else. So.
Yes.
So I started selling life insurance. I would do some coaching on the side, private lessons and stuff like that. Also started my own home inspection business at the time.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
I was able to start that, and now it's become more than a home inspection. It's more building inspection services. But the goal was to have something of my own. And one of the things
you always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, as a track and field athlete, you're motivated by working for yourself.
Yes.
So
because either you're going to either win the race or nobody.
Yes. So for me, the drive was always to work hard, and my dad was a mason, so I grew up around buildings. So it was just foreign, even though people say you have a degree in human resource management. Well, I grew up around buildings. I would go to construction site with my dad. So, there's a passion there. And, I started a business, and, for me, I got to the place where by 2007, I knew, this is what I wanted. I wanted to have a relationship with a wife. As a young man, you sometimes get out there and the world seduces you and people come at you in different ways and different angles, and you start realizing, they're not in it because they really care about you. They see something that they want. And, during that time process too, I started coming together, really embracing my Christian faith, starting to, really dig into what it means to be a follower of Christ and not a Christian, because people can say I'm a Christian, but what does it mean to be a Christian? So 2006, 2007 was a very pivotal year to where I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm the target, because, men are seduced a lot of times when someone look at them a certain way and says, oh, you know what, you look good and all this kind of stuff. And eventually I was like, I don't want to have that anymore. I want to have a relationship. And
so who did you meet?
So in the process, you see people come in and they'll be attracted to you and they'll play whatever game. And I just remember meeting my beautiful wife, Fuentes. After, you go.
She is pretty.
Yes, she is gorgeous. And, it was when I met her, I was like, look, I want a wife. That's what I want. I don't want to really, if you're not ready for a wife, I don't really want any other relationship. It's just, everything else is meaningless, it's pointless. I don't want that. And, we started talking, and, she's talking about family, and she said, you know what? We had good conversations, and, we're at Bethany getting involved in the church, and at the same time they had the businessman luncheon, so connecting with the business community and all that, and just building strong roots and foundations in Baton Rouge. And for us, that was a transitional period. The business, we started the business that year, and the business started growing, and over the years we started moving into different areas of building inspection services and stuff like that. And we learned building a family while also growing a business and being able to we're able to get to the point where we had our first daughter, who is now 8 years old.
8 years old.
Yes,
beautiful young lady.
Lulu. And the family life, we've been able to, in that process, we've been able to travel the country. I've been working a lot, traveling from one end of America to the next end. So I've been exposed to so much of American culture, so much of American life, and to be able to have that with my daughters now. Tia, she's 3 years old. They're just two energetic girls, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the family life, but more than anything else, my wife, she's been able to stand there and be a mother to her children. So for us, it's been. We recognize there was something unique about a family, the strength that a family projects, and the unity that our family projects is what we as a people crave more than anything else.
Sure, sure.
And so my wife Quintez, she's an amazing wife. She
She
gets.
really is. All right, Brother Claston, you go to, you leave Jamaica 20-something years ago. You come to Baton Rouge and participate as an All-American track athlete at LSU, and then get into your own business, and you meet Sister Quintez, two beautiful children, and as being an entrepreneur, and I'm a former business owner myself.
Yes.
I started in 3 businesses, and when you're an entrepreneur for your own business, you know what it takes to sign the front of a payroll check.
Yes.
And that's what I admire about you, of wanting to start your own business and being able to provide goods and services and payrolls and all that, and I admire you for doing that. Good people. Claston, like I said, is a dear friend of mine, and he is decided a few months ago that he was going to run for Congressman in District 2, and that's a pretty long district, all the way from areas of New Orleans up the river to North Baton Rouge, and
Yes.
right?
Chalmette to Baker.
Chalmette to Baker. Oh Lord.
Yes.
Well, but look, good people watching A Better Life. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about why Claston's heart is to serve the people of Louisiana by running and hopefully being elected to Congress District 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back to A Better Life, and we're here with Mr. Claston Bernard. All right, Claston, U.S. Congressman, District 2, congressional seat is open, and you have been qualified, and you have qualified to run for that seat, and the election is this Saturday, March the 20th. Brother Claston, I know your heart, but I want you to speak to the people there watching A Better Life. Why did you decide to run for congressman? And let's talk about that a little bit.
I tell you, before you go to bernardforcongress.com, bernardforcongress.com, that's my platform. You can find it there, and that's Bernard, F-O-R, congress.com. I care about this state. I'm living the American dream.
Yes, you are.
I came from a place that there was not much hope other than what my dad saw or what my great-grandfather told him to do.
Right.
And when since being in this state, I have connected with the people, and I've traveled all over the world. I've traveled all over this country, and to get the opportunities that I've gotten here and then walk away from this state is like just a slap in their face.
Yes.
So for me, I want to give back. I want to fight and say we have what it takes in this state to become great, to do good things. But we need the people with the right will, the people who are willing to buck the trend and say, you know what? We have to change direction. We have to change course. Congressional District 2 has been in deplorable conditions for years. And to see, I think it might be a blessing that, sadly, they are promoting failure, that someone could actually become an advisor to the President of the United States after leading this district in the condition that it is.
Yes.
So, what I've learned coming to Louisiana is that they don't like to reward failure. So why are we rewarding political failure to a higher position? So we have to expect better, and we have to do better. But my goal is to inspire the people of Louisiana and says, go back to your first love. It's God, family, education, and hard work that made the American dream possible.
Exactly.
We're not sitting here not saying there are not evils that exist, but the reality is I am here irrespective of the evil my family faced and even the trials that I've had to overcome in this country, and I'm able to do something. And with the resources we have, we are looking at either forcing people to accept us instead of saying, you know what, you have to get up. You have to hold your family together. Yes. And to be honest, the family is the entire story. The family is the strength of who we are.
Claston, tell us some of the things that you've looked at in Congressional District Number 2 that need to change, that you need to go to Washington and fight for. What are some of the things that's on your heart that you know that has to change for Congressional District 2?
Well, family and education. And education is the number one key to getting out of poverty.
Right.
But the family has to be intact.
Yes.
The government it's not the design of the government to fix the family. The family has, the government comes forth from the family.
Okay.
So how can the government fix the family? So we have to have policies that actually helps the family. It shows that marriages reduces poverty by as much as 80%.
Yes.
We need to be pushing policies that actually help to keep people together.
Keep the families together.
People who are on welfare, we need to make sure that they have 3 to 5 years. You can get married and you have 3 to 5 years to get off welfare. And if you get off welfare and you have a child, you get about $5,000 for that expense, because a child coming forth is normally expensive.
But I mean, what are some of the things that you know that you need? All right, education, family unity. I like to talk this nasty 7-letter word called traffic. What is it, as a congressman, what could you do to help eliminate the traffic blight or the education that needs to be turned around? What are some of those things that you're really there to fight for the Americans for?
We have to get the education factor first,
okay,
before anything else, because education creates brighter minds. Brighter minds come up with more information to help alleviate a lot of the issues.
Sure.
So I have an after-school education program. The after-school education program puts $3,600 a year in the hand of a parent.
Wow.
For whatever skill the child want to learn, they have from age 6 to 17 to learn that skill. Singing, dancing, playing piano, playing instrument.
I grew up in North Baton Rouge, and by the time you were in the 9th grade, they knew whether you were college bound or you needed to pick out some kind of career. A welder, pipe fitter, plumber, heating and air guy, and they would teach you that craft in high school.
Yes.
And then they would teach you some of the prerequisite stuff for college, like accounting and stuff like that. Is that
That's the same thing, pretty much.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You have plumbing, pipe fitting, electrical,
yes,
whatever you need to learn to put yourself in a position to become a productive member of society.
That's right.
And we need to go back to those. And I'm trying to partner with private institutions that can do that. And even if you have churches can offer those computer courses,
sure,
coding courses, singing lessons, whatever.
Yes.
Institution that have already established themselves within the community. But we have to fix the educational issue. Now in Baton Rouge, I would love to see a underwater bridge. To be honest, they're theirs. They have the Chesapeake underwater bridge. We need to come up with creativity. We need to connect I-49 all the way to New Orleans to alleviate
yes,
all the stress of the traffic. But the fundamental problem in Louisiana, Congressional District 2, is broken families and poor education.
Right.
So we have to
That's the two you want to focus on.
So I want to really tackle those first, because those are broken family. They're prescription to fixing them.
Sure.
And we have to give the power back to parents to make the right decisions, not government bureaucrats, yes, not unions or anybody else, or politicians.
That's
to
right.
make decisions that parents, that God gave us the right to do as parents, not the government.
Well, good people watching A Better Life. I know Brother Claston's heart, and you've heard him speak here now for a good while. Claston, and I believe that you're going to be elected. And the election is this Saturday,
Yes.
March the 20th. And polls open at what time and close at what time? They need to get out there to vote,
They
correct?
need to get out there. Yes, they need to get out and vote. I think polls open. I think it's what, 7 in the morning.
Yes.
7 in the morning, and it closes at about 9 o'clock here.
Yes.
If I'm correct.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 8 o'clock. Yeah.
eight,
It
yeah.
may be 8, 9, yeah.
Okay, somewhere around that. So we need you guys out there. My ballot number is number 3, and you can go and look at my platform. It's a pretty good platform. It's family based. It's for everyone. This is not about Democrat or Republican. It's about fixing what's wrong within our within.
So your website to go to, tell the people watching A Better Life what to go to?
BernardForCongress.com. So
BernardForCongress.com.
Yes.
And they can read all your platform that you want to work for and change for the betterment of Louisiana people in District 2.
Yes.
Yes. Well, all right, good people watching A Better Life. Like I said from the beginning, I know Brother Claston's heart. He has a beautiful family. He's a family man. He's the entrepreneur. He knows what it takes to sign the front of a payroll check. And I'm believing that that this Saturday is going to be a very delightful day for the Louisianians living in District 2. So get out, vote, get there early, and watch Saturday night and all the election returns.
Yes.
Thank you, Brother Claston, for being on A Better Life, brother.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Brother
it, man.
Hank. I
God bless
appreciate
you, brother.
Thank you. God bless you too.
Thank you for watching A Better Life.